Tonight we're going to kind of continue on with our ongoing series of presentations on alternatives to the now defunct or soon to be defunct Access web apps. We've had, I think this will be the fourth version. We've seen Zoho Creator, we've seen Alpha Anywhere, we've seen actually there's standard .NET MVC type development, and now we're going to see the ScriptCase that Octavio actually uses this in his own development practice, and I think that speaks well for the potential. I actually saw a presentation Octavio gave about a month and a half ago at the Portland Access Users Group meeting. I was very impressed, and I asked him to follow up here and talk about the tool and how he uses it. Hello, Peter. Peter Doring has joined us from Germany, so appreciate you staying up this late, Peter. Without any further ado, I will just turn the time over to Octavio to let him introduce himself briefly and tell us about this product that he uses to develop web apps for his clients. Take it away, Octavio.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. My name is Octavio. I am a Microsoft Access developer. I have been doing that for like 6-7 years, and I love Microsoft Access as a tool for application development. The reason I like Access is because it's very easy to come up with a solution for a client business issue about processes or reporting. All of us know that the Access is very powerful in the desktop environment, but unfortunately, Access doesn't do very well for the web environment. And I look for I tried Access web apps in the past, and I didn't see I didn't get that flexibility that I was looking for. It was kind of limited, and they didn't do any better. And as we know, it looks like there is no future now on that direction. So I started looking for options, and one of the options that I found was this one that you see on the screen. Is called a ScriptCase. Just gonna log on into their website. If you go to ScriptCase.net, they have a very good website. They have a very good reputation worldwide. I think they start getting, I don't want to say popular, but they're starting getting a little bit more recognized after version 7. Right now they are on version 9. The version 9 is the most current, and it's getting better right now. This version is focusing on business intelligence. Like a lot of software companies are focusing now is on delivering dashboards and delivering reports based on data models. This application is very, very powerful. What it is a PHP code generator. So this application, like Access, generates a lot of code for us and allows to create different kind of applications in a very short time, which is the key. And the number one reason I'm using this tool, because in a very short period of time, you can deliver very powerful applications and very low cost for clients. And they don't have to wait, and we don't have to spend too much time coding. This company has very good support. The technical support is improving, but they have resources, very good resources. They have video, they have courses, documentation, webinars. So if you go right here, you can also see samples and these samples are also loaded into the application ScriptCase when once it's installed. As you see the features, you can create applications like this, like the ones you see on the screen right now. You can create charts, you can create the grids, you can integrate with several databases, you can export to Microsoft Excel, Word. It's also, this is no, I mean, it's no fully responsive like they claim here. I mean, it works okay on tablets, full-size monitors. Mobile devices, it's getting in there, but not quite yet. So you can explore their website, and they have very good information right here. And also, you can download it, and you can try it for 20 days for free. Now, one of the also good reasons to use this program is that the price went up. Right now for new clients is getting, it looks like it's a little bit more expensive, and they went to subscription base. So pretty much now, if you want to use the tool, you can go to annual subscription or lifetime. And basically what the, you know, I mean, like the name says right here, so you are paying you pay, it's annual subscription is, I think you pay once a year too, or I don't know if, so if you don't pay, you know, the subscription, basically you are not able to access that application anymore. But if you get the lifetime version, it's more expensive, but after 12 months of support or major updates, minor and major updates, you can continue using the application. You just won't get those updates. So looks like the good option that I see right now they have is this one, the starter is $289, and you can choose between these databases. So you have to pick up one. So the most popular is MySQL, because this software is based on PHP, and PHP is talks very well to MySQL. But also you can use SQL Server. You can use in other databases, but that looks like only applies to the enterprise. And it's still, I mean, even if you pay this price, I mean, you can if you develop a few projects, you can, you know, get this money back. Now, the application, when you open the application looks like this, and it's a web-based application. So you don't install that on your desktop. You install it on a browser, and then the application will use a port. In this case, it uses the port 8090. So also you can use, if you go to the IP of this machine, and then you type all this after the IP address, you can also run this application from any computer on the network. So it's kind of cool feature that you can, you are not tied to this machine only. So also when you install it, you get the menu on top, the option menu, and you get also links or buttons or shortcuts right here. Now there are some applications they are installed too as default that you can actually, if we go, I think this one is installed as default, and this one samples. If not, I think if you click here, create project, you get this one's listed right here. So they give you samples for you to see and play, and at the same time you can see how it's done. You can see the code, you can see the forms and grids and all the reports, and you can get an idea how they're doing it, and then you can replicate that on your own projects. So you can connect to web services. This one is the one that I recommend always to install, because this one has all includes a demo, but all the functionality the ScriptCase have. So the first thing to do when you're creating an application with this tool is blank project, and then you are going to see we are moving. We are on this part right now at the very beginning, and then we're going to move on to languages, themes, and so on. So, so we name the project. We give it a name. We can also add an icon if you want to attach a picture to it. You can add an icon. These are default, but if you click over here, you can also bring your own, and also you can pull from project. There are different folder locations where you can look for images. Right now, I'm not adding an image to it, and then I'm going to click next. One feature that this will have is the default is in English, but you can set up a different default language. So, and also you can add, if you want to add Spanish to it, you can add that language. You can choose, all you have to do is click, and then you can choose which one is your default. And then you can have the option to launch this application in the cloud for multiple languages. Right now, I mean, it's that simple, and then you click next. Now we're on themes. On themes, there are all these options right here. There are more. They are releasing new themes every time they release a new version. The ScriptCase 9, I think it's about probably 3-4 months old, and they released this one, the AC9 Reno. But you can select more themes for your project. Let's say if you want to select this blue one, all you have to do is click here. If you want to select this one, Sapphire, you click here, and then those three are selected. And then that is if you want to provide different looking for the application to the same application, same data, different looking. And some users will like to switch. They get tired of using the same color, and they can get that option to change the looking. And also this tool, you can get the option to customize all this. You can customize, you can make a copy and create make changes, and it's possible to do too. The last part is to select the connection, the database that you're going to be working on. So as you see, Microsoft is very popular and is listed right here because of that, because Access is used a lot. So also trying to bring customers, from Access. You can connect Microsoft Access if you are hosting the database on the web. There are companies hosting databases on the web. I think one is Arbix, and there are like a few more. Amazon does it too, I think. And also you can, if you install this application on premises, you can also connect to Microsoft Access, on that way. You can connect to SQL Server. On this machine, I don't have the driver for SQL Server, but I have another machine where I have the same tool installed, and the driver for SQL Server is there. So I have another machine connected to when I need it for SQL Server. The SQLite is integrated with the ScriptCase. So if you don't have access to anything, actually when you install an application, when you create, when you install one that is provided at the very beginning on the list, the samples and web service and all that, ScriptCase use this tool as default. So it's built into it. And there are some other databases. The one that I use the most is MySQL. Like I said before, is because PHP and MySQL works very well together. Then one very cool feature that this tool has is that I can create multiple connections. So if I have an application in MySQL, but I have another application on SQL Server, I mean, in this case, I have to install the driver. So I have to run the ScriptCase where I can run both drivers or or install the driver on Linux. I think that there is a new version coming up very soon for Linux. But you can connect to multiple databases at the same time, and you can bring data into one application this way. So for now, I'm going to use MySQL, and then it's going to ask the host. Says local host here, but I did change it to my local IP of this computer. If you go to DOS prompt, you get the DOS command, the DOS prompt. Here we go to terminal, and then instead of typing ipconfig is ifconfig. And the IP address is this one right here. So in DOS, it'll be ipconfig, and then you can get the IP. So I'm gonna type 192, and it's right here. The port to connect to the database is 3306 as default. The method, the driver. So as default, you get the MySQL PDF as a PHP data object. Is the most advanced right now, and then the password to connect, username and password to connect to MySQL server. So once I provide the parameters, I can, if I am using SSL for security, to encrypt the connection. If I want to filter which tables, I'm sure I usually use the default. I don't know exactly what this is for. I guess you can select if you want to use tables, views, or both. As default, I mean, everyone will choose both. And the encoding and the parameters for decimals and some of the things right there. But I usually leave this as default. So once I click list database, you go and select a specific database you're going to be working on. So I have created this database for this presentation, and then I just select the database, and now I'm going to test the connection. By clicking test connection, I know that when okay, if it, sometimes you get invalid. If you get an error, you will get a red pop-up here that will say an error message. So then you have the connection, you click create, and then that is the final part of setting the first application. I'm sorry, the setup to create the first application. Then we click in here, and this is what the options are for creating applications. And the funny thing here is every single option is called application within this program. Grid is an application, a chart is an application, form. So the most popular are forms like Microsoft Access and grids, because this is some sort of report. And you can create graphs, the control, if you want to create dialog boxes, or if you want to create custom controls. You get the option to search. Let's say you are going to open a form or a grid. You can call a search firm. First, you call a search, and then you can open a form and a grid based on the search, based on the data that you enter on this form. You can create menus. We're going to create a menu. We're going to create a form, and we're going to create a grid in a moment. The tree menu, the classic tree menu is another option. If you want to see the menu, button menu, you can use a tree view menu. You can create tabs. You can create PDF reports. This is new on this version. And this is kind of cool, but it's not partially, I mean, it's partially there, not complete. I think you can see the fields, but you don't see the labels. You have to kind of create the background field names. The dashboard is when you put any of this into one view, into one container. And also you have an option to create calendars and events, and basic calendar. It's not very advanced yet, but it's pretty powerful. Now the blank the blank application is just an open notepad. Basically, you type code, you type HTML code, PHP code, JavaScript, SQL, and this will run through this. So basically, this is also very kind of control and blank are kind of similar. Sometimes you need to do something that is not allowed by any option here, so you have to use a blank form. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to create a grid, which is the most standard. As default, we have the connection name, but we can add more connections to it. Now we are going to select the table. The table we have, for this example, we have a customers table, employees table, we have orders, we have products. And I created these tables when I was testing it. So I'm going to create a customers grid, but also with this option, you get with the grid application, you get the option to join tables. So if you want to join customers and orders, you can do that, and the program will create the join for you automatically. So later you can remove. Actually, you can remove the fields that you don't need from here and only show that. So it's very popular that you can choose. You can join by clicking on the tables here. It will create that for you, the SQL. This is new also on this version. You can edit the fields if you want to change the label. Automatically, we'll adjust the field name. We'll put it as a label. And data types. This is another very cool feature about this program is it has a very powerful data types like the normal text, integer, decimal, but also you get the percentage, you get if it's an HTML image, if it's an email value, it will validate the email for you. If it's in a URL, if it's in a YouTube video, even if it's a Google Maps. So these are data types on this application. Also, if you want to save images on the database, or if you want to save images, but you want to save the name of the image and where it's located, that way the database doesn't get bigger and bigger. So you can save the file name only and the direction and the path. Also documents, this one you can save PDF documents, Excel sheets, you can save images, you can save videos. Actually, videos you can be done on this one, either one, I think. Either the same thing. You can, if you want to save the documents, you can save the location. It supports barcodes, the QR code, and so on. I mean, this is new too, the QR code and different formats for barcodes. So I'm going to leave it as default right now. I'm just going to hit create here. So I'm no creating any code at all. So right now the application Grid Customer has been created. And all I have to do is run and see how it looks, how this application looks like. So this is data coming out of that table, the customers table. And as you see, we have a header, we have a quick search. This is already there. So if I'm looking for Roland, I just type Roland and hit enter. And now we have Roland here and we have Roland there. So if I click on the X, everything goes back to normal. That is defaulted. If we want to see less columns or rearrange the columns or add columns, we can create in here. It says we don't need the address. I'm going to remove the address and I'm going to put the first name and last name first right here. I'm going to hit apply. Now the grid shrink because the address is no longer here and the first name and last name I'm sorry, I didn't move last name, but the first name is in here. And then also when you put the mouse over the title, you get that symbol right there. So this allows you to sort one direction, another direction. So this is kind of cool, and it's already included, this built into it. So I can enable, disable, and make changes to this. So like this sorting right here, it says I want to sort by customer number and ascending, descending, or I can, and then by customer name. And then if I hit apply, it will sort by that criteria that I choose specify here, customer number and customer name. So that is a drag and drop dynamic sorting. Also, if I want to export this into PDF, Word, Excel, and all these formats right here, all I have to do is choose the option, download, and I have the Excel file here. Or also I can view it immediately from here. So all that is built into it, and I can customize this. Has the advanced search, which is a little bit more powerful than this one, because on this one you can specify options, and the options here gets longer. This is just our default of options. So I can, if it's a date, as an example, if I have a date field, I can choose between, and I can have between date and others, between begin and end, or start and end dates. This is advanced search. Then I hit advanced search, and then I will get that filtered. So this is called the toolbar, and also we have this as default, which we can move between pages, and also I can go directly into a page here, or if I want to see more records, I can see 20 at a time. If I want to see 50 at a time, I want to see 10 at a time. And these are showing the total, 11 to 20 out of 122. So this is the grid. As default too, you get this, how you call it, forgot the ellipsis. I don't remember what it's called, this three little dots. When you click on it, if you want to see the values of this contact, this client, you click in here, and then you see all the fields for that record, and then you can print PDF, send to PDF, or choose a default. So far, do you have any question? Maybe it's overwhelming, or maybe it's way too easy, that it's unbelievable, or feel free to ask any question.
I have a couple, in no particular order.
Yeah.
Okay. The language support. So if you select two different languages, then can you toggle back and forth between those languages during runtime, or is that?
Yeah. Let me go to the toolbar, and this the toolbar is organized by left, center, and right. This is the top section, and this is the bottom section right here. So on the top, I'm going to put, if you see, I'm going to find themes. I have themes right here. So I'm going to put that right below quick search. I mean, next, it'll be next to quick search. And now themes will be listed, will be available for this application. So if I run it again, now I have the different themes already available here. So if I get tired of this, I can switch.
And users can select that.
Yeah, they can select it for the application, and we can make it available too for each application or the entire program.
And the same is true of the language selection.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the theme. You were talking about the language. Language is here. So I'm going to do the same thing for the language. I'm going to put the language next to themes, and I'm going to execute. I'm sorry. And now we have English, and we should have Spanish listed in there. But let me check why Spanish is not listed. But basically, what it's going to do, you're going to get all the languages listed here, and then everything will change into Spanish, accept your data, obviously the data will, and the labels will remain because the labels are customized by the user. So, but there is an option to also change the labels. If the field names, if we go to application language, you can customize those in here. So you can create your own. So based on the, let's see, so for the buttons, so you have in English, you have in Spanish. If you want to, you can type it in. What do you want to show when the button is in the language is in Spanish? So I think the reason it didn't work is maybe because I need to generate. This has to be generated. Probably that's why it didn't work. Let me run this again. And no. Yeah.
Is it only in one thing?
Maybe I didn't select the language properly. Maybe I didn't save it. But if we go to, let me find properties. Probably here, properties. Localist. Oh, maybe it's because the themes are not there. So Spanish. Spanish.
Oh yeah, Octavio?
Yeah.
The toolbar did change. It's just the drop down that didn't.
The toolbar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Says consulta, búsqueda rap. Yeah, this is in Spanish campus clasificación. Oh yeah, it did change. It did change. This didn't update, I think, because I didn't change it properly. Maybe the settings. But if we want to change this back to English, it went back to English. So it should the. I don't know exactly what didn't show up before, but see how it says Spanish. Now English is switching.
It might have been a caching issue too.
Yeah, I think that might be it. But yeah, so the language is changing. The CSS is changing. See how easy. How much time do I spend to give this to a final user? These options are, little things, but might be very very powerful. For to make your application more flexible for final users. Any other question? Let's see. Now that we have the grids, there is an option here in grid modules where we can customize search capabilities, detail, summary, and chart. And I mean, each module right here has his own. I mean, I will have to spend some time, but basically, I can leave the search, but detail we don't need. We don't need a summary. We don't need a chart. So for a simple grid, I removed, there is no way to see the details, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an option to click on the ID, on the customer number, and bring that specific customer number. But before doing that, I need to create a form. So I'm going to create a new application. This is going to be a form. And it's unbelievable how easy and fast this is going to be. So I'm going to choose customers again, but instead of a grid, this is going to be a form. So like Microsoft Access does, we can create a form with a single row or a single record, or we can have multiple records. The difference between these three is on this one, you can select one or more. And these two are very similar. So on one, you can edit right away. On the other one, you have to click on each record in order to edit that specific record. So I'm going to click a single row for now. We can change this at any moment. So I'm going to click create. That's it. All I have to do is run. And now we have the customer form. And same thing, we can add the themes, we can add the language, and we can have that as default too. But right now, as default is not to add the themes and the language. So if I move to the next one, you see we are browsing on each record. I can go to the first one, I can go to the last one. I can add a brand new record. It's totally blank. I can cancel it. I can add a value, let's say address. I'm just going to put apartment 123, and I'm going to save. So I should save that value into that field. I can delete this record, and also I can add even buttons. I can create my own buttons here. Like I want to add a button to, I don't know, bring a Google Map for this specific address. Or I want to create a button to open all the cities, all the states, or any. I can create that in here. I can create a JavaScript. I can create a JavaScript, an Ajax. So easy to do, Ajax. Do you have any question? Or maybe someone was trying to ask a question? No?
No, I think we're good. Jeffrey has a question here.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
No question. No question.
Just a comment. Very, very impressive.
So it looks very easy to do. Like a lot of applications do make the life easier, but at the same time you are very limited. This tool is makes the developer life very easy, but at the same time you get a lot of flexibility. And I'm going to show you, an example right here. I'm going to actually on this table, I'm going to, every time when I enter 44,000 as a zip code, I want to show France in the country without refreshing anything in here. So the particularity of Ajax is that you can go back to the server, query the server, and bring data back to your form, to this form, without refreshing it. I can refresh if I press F5. Not F5, but I can put a refresh button here. There is code to refresh too, but the feature is with Ajax is that you can go back to the server and bring data with the event. It's called Ajax event. So to do that, we have regular events. We have like Access have events, but I'm gonna skip that for now. I'm gonna use an Ajax event. So in Ajax, we'll go back to the server and bring every time when the postal code changes, I want to do something. So every time that this field changes, I'm going to bring the country. The country name will say France, right? So in a ScriptCase, when you see can you hear me?
Yes, we're good.
Okay. When you see a value between curly brackets, or when you see a value between when you see let me see if I can make this bigger. When you see a word between curly brackets, that means there is a field name. Like I'm putting right there is a field name. If you see a word between square brackets, that means it's a global variable that you can use on your entire application, on your entire web application. So these are basically for coding. In ScriptCase, you need to know this rule: field names between curly brackets, and global variable between square brackets. And there is another one called attributes, kind of similar to this, but won't talk about that one right now. These two are the main ones. So in other words, if I need to refer to a field, let's say the field, I'm gonna put postal code here. If I open the curly brackets and then hit Control space bar, I get the list of all the field names already on the database. Control space bar. So I'm gonna choose postal code. Let's say if postal code is equal 44,000, then say the field country maybe so what I'm saying here is these three lines. The field value of postal code is 44,000. I want country to become to get this value. So I'm gonna run this. If I create a new, put postal code. If I put 44,000 and then I go away, oh, friends is there now. I put 50,000 and away, country is blank. But if I put 44,000, then automatically I'm populating that based on this value. So that is Ajax, but also if I want to say the credit limit is 50,000. I don't want to let users add new customers. The credit limit is 20,000. So I'm gonna do that by using a applications event. We were using Ajax event. This is different than this event. This one goes back to the server without refreshing the form. This one, yeah, we are refreshing the form with this. So there is an event initialize the form, before SQL, before fields are loaded, when we are moving between forms. There are different when we are loading records. And before saving, we can validate the form, the data. We can say again, if the field credit limit is greater than 20,000, and if credit limit is greater than, let's say, an error. So I'm typing SC underscore. Anything that is beginning with SC means it's a macro. If you see, we have macros. It's basically our functions. Like we built in Access, these are predefined functions that we can use already built in on this tool. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So the one that I'm going to be using right now is we're going to send an error. Let's start with M, E, error message. So I'm going to say message if the credit limit is, we can say credit limit is 20,000. Then we close. Basically, we're putting a restriction on the onValidate. We're saying, do not save the record. Allow saving the record if the field credit limit is greater than 20,000, and then show this message. So if I run this, and I'm going to add a new customer. She's going to put, customer number 123. This can be auto increment. Right now, it's manually entered, but enter credit limit 50,000, away, and then, but if I click add, it says error, credit limit, we put another extra, but exceeds 20,000. So it won't save until I fix this. So if I put 5,000, then add, it's safe. That record safe. So choose the order. I put that I didn't put the right order, but it's in there. So let's say if I put 1, 2, 3, it's right here. So that is using the events on validate. Now, if I can also, if that is an error, I can then we'll do this. Whatever I put in here, it will do that. If everything goes well, then we'll do this. So it's a little bit different from Access, but most of the events are very similar, like on load, like before insert, after update, after delete. So is the samples of some coding and events. Another option is if everything goes well, on validate success, I can send an email, and with attachment. I can put right here SMTP server values, the email server values, and then I can attach a document or an Excel sheet or anything, a PDF, and that is done automatically too by using this function, the ScriptCase function mail send. So I won't do this, but I just want to let you know it's possible. We can hide fields too. This is kind of cool, actually, we can say, let me see if I can do, let me check the form. Let's say on load, we can hide a field. If I go here on fields, events, on load, I would say show and hide a field. I'm just going to hide. I mean, I can hide fields based on a user. If a user has a privilege to see the field, I can show the field. If the user doesn't have a privilege, I can hide a field. So just for now, I'm going to hide the field just to let you know how easy it is to do that. So I'm going to hide the field country again. So this field will be hidden right now once I run it. It won't be there anymore. You see, country is no longer there. So I can do the same thing. With Ajax, I can say, I can say if a postal code is 44,000, I can say a script case to hide field. Oh, sorry. Just want to script case. I'm just gonna type it in. That way I don't have to case. I don't see it listed. Let me just put it right here. Field. I'm sorry, field display. Right now, if I put 44,000, I want to see the country field. It's going to be on. It's going to be visible. So I just tweak the criteria here. If I create a new one and I put postal code, put 50,000, and I click away, I don't see country, but if I put 44,000 and I click away, see, country is visible now. So you can make forms easy to more friendlier this way, so you don't have to show a lot of data. Now, any question? Should I continue?
Well, we're getting. I do want to hear a little bit about. Excuse me. I do want to hear a little bit about security and logins and passwords and that kind of thing. But
oh, okay. I'll do that one. I just need to do one thing that I forgot to do, which is on the grid. On this report, every time that I click on the customer number, I want to go to that customer and make changes if I want to. So that is the last thing to do here. I'm going to link the grid in the form. So in order to do that here, I'm going to create a link. I'm going to say a new link, and then I'm going to choose field. And customer number, you can do it by using any field, because this is the primary key and foreign key. I'm going to use that and then click next. This is the only form that I have available. I'm going to click next. I'm going to say the customer number will be the value from, the current value coming from this parameter. And then I can open that on the same window, on modal, on another window. So I have, just going to leave it as default. And now if I am listing this report, if you see now, this become a link. So now all I have to do is, if I want to open this one that says mini-GIF distributors in 24, I am on mini-GIF distributor LTD. I'm going to put company. So I change LTD and put company in there. I'm going to save that. Oh, see the value, credit limit is 620,000. See the criteria right here is working on this one too. It's just going to put 0 for now. I'm going to save this and go back. Now instead of showing the previous value, now it's showing company right here. So this is one way, but there are other ways. This is the basic way to do that. Now, if I want to add security to this form.
Before you go on, you just raised another question. And,
go ahead.
I hate to interrupt, but before we move on, when I was watching that, I was thinking that would be a way to, well, for example, you had order and detail lines in an order. You could use that same linking function to open an order detail grid.
Correct.
Off of an order.
Yeah. Do that, and also you can, what I usually do, I add, there is a way to add fields but on a grid. Yeah, there is a way to do that, but it's a little bit, this one I have to spend some time. There's a way to put a button here. I can put buttons next to it on the left, on the right. And also there is another way to do that. But this is, one way. There are several ways to do it. There is another question.
Can you see them?
This is a front-end user interface building tool. It requires that the data is available online. Somehow set up a server. Another feature of this program is that once you complete your application, all you need is let me see if I can. I think I have the tool. Oh yeah, I do. All you need is web server. All you need is a web server. Most companies, most web hosting companies offer that. So you need Apache. You can use Microsoft AS. And there is a new one coming, becoming very popular. I think it's called Nginx or something like that. So pretty much any web server, and then you can install this application, and the client doesn't have to pay a penny. I mean, it's free. You pay for the development environment, but once you deploy, the client doesn't have to pay no setup fees, no maintenance fees, no monthly fees, nothing. It's just install once, and that's it. No, nothing else. No, unless the only thing you have to pay is the hosting fees, and domain fees. That's it. Now, if I want to add security, so I did add security already to this application, but let me delete the tables. By the way, this is a schema that I'm using right now. Here is this one, custom this one right here. So I'm going to refresh, or maybe not. I did constraints. I don't see the tables listed here. These are the columns. Okay, sorry, my mistake. Indeed, too much. Yeah. I create a log, and so I'm gonna call this to create that again. So basically, what this tool is doing is creating the users tables, the security tables into this. You can, like, if we see the users, the table. Maybe black won't work, but let me change to skin. So if you see it's encrypted, the password is encrypted right here, and I'm pretty sure there is a way to unencrypt that, but the security is not the best, but they're getting better and better on this. So to delete the tables. Also, it has a feature to do the log. Like right now here, this is saying everything is done. It's being recorded. So which form which application is being used, the IP address is using this, but I can get the IP address, where this change was done, the time, the username who made the change, and what was the action. So all this is logged automatically too. So this is easy to create, to keep a log of all the changes, deleting, adding. If you want to recover data, you can go back and review and get it's painful, yes, but at least you can recover data from here.
Can I interrupt for a second? So this log is written to a file. Is it a text file?
It's a table. It's a table.
A table in the database?
Yeah.
And do you have administrative access to that table outside of the application?
No. I mean, this is only if I am as a developer, you have access to that. But yeah, you can provide access to it. Yeah, if you want to. Yeah.
I think mostly you would want it to be as the administrator or the developer. You'd want.
No, definitely. You can, like if you go right here and you go to user group apps, I think this one. If you see this, I don't know if I can make this bigger, but no, unfortunately I cannot make this bigger. But if you see this column is for access, this column for insert, this column for deletion, updates, export, and print. So each grid, each application, and this is the group, actually group 1 and then group 2. We have only 2 groups right now, but I can create more groups. You define what is available for each group.
Okay.
We can add the table, we can add the form. I mean, we have to create a form to talk to this table and then assign that privilege to administrators only.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a mixture of sensitive to people's time and also waving my hands frantically to ask a bunch of questions. So I think, well, let me just put it this way. Could you come back in a future meeting and go more into depth on this side of it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, let's take that discussion offline and see if we can set it up, because I think this is what I'm seeing here is a big issue for Access Web Apps where security was kind of buried inside SharePoint. It looks like you have a lot more direct access and control in this environment. Beyond being able to host it on pretty much any database database that you want.
Yeah, let me see if I can. It's so fast. I have to just delete this to redo it because I was testing it. I was practicing before. So I delete all those tables, the log table and the security table. So all I have to do is let me go back to. So all I have to do is go back to security. And I can create the log here, create the log and then the application and then create the report. But I'm going to do the security. And then I'm going to create security as a group. And then click next. And then the connection. And then C is the prefix that I was using. I could have used another prefix, but I just wanted clean. And then click close. And then I can. Parameters are specified as default, so I'm not changing anything. And then here I'm gonna set the encryption that I'm gonna use. So I can use 512. This is the most powerful right now. So enable security. I can use CAPTCHA. I can add the log right here. So right now I don't have a log, so I won't include that into this security. And I don't have a menu, so it's going to create a menu, but menu. So also the specifications for the login, if they're able to retrieve a password to allow new users, email settings, and also there are templates now on this application. So also, if the administrator wants to be notified, and then that's it. I'm going to generate security and then open project. Now, if you see, all this has been updated, all the applications. So all those tables were added. And I think some of them were duplicated because I already have those in there, but I'm going to generate this. So generating the code is compiling, some sort of compiling. But now, if you see, there is an application called App Login right here. Mm-hmm. So this is the main application now to log on. So if I run this application, now I'm gonna enter I need to enter credentials. In this case, it's default admin, and then I get a menu. And on the menu, I can add users. Right now, there is only one user. I can add groups. There are only 2 groups. And then I can actually sync applications. Yeah, that's something that needed to do right now. But if you go to groups applications and then you choose, let's say, create a new group. Let's create a group final power users, and you click add, and then we have power users. And then if you want to assign privileges to power users, all you have to do is go back to group applications, and then you choose power users. And now you specify what they can do. Right here, they can do this, they can insert, they can delete, they can update, and then you go application by application, and then you put restrictions or permissions, Then they will be able to see, access, or do what you specify here.
How granular is that? Is it by column or by table or by row?
It's by application.
By application.
By application, yeah. But also you can narrow down. If you use Ajax, like I did, hiding fields. You can hide fields, and you can open forms based on a group. Or if this group A, group 1 or group 2, open that application, open this other application. So you get a lot of flexibility.
Okay, perfect. Wow. Well, this is a lot to absorb, and I'm going to say this looks like a pretty good place to take a pause. Does anyone else have any additional questions? Peter said it was 2 o'clock in the morning for him, so he had to.
It's too late, definitely.
Yeah, appreciate the fact that he attended. Does anybody else have any questions or requests that you'd like to see? I think this would be a great topic for a follow-up.
You're welcome.
Let me think if there's anything else.
Looks like it's leaving. Yeah, no, I mean, feel free to ask questions. If not, we can call it for today. Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Anybody else have a comment, a question? Okay, so just to kind of recap, this is entirely browser-based. All the design development work is done in your browser. You are using what, Chrome?
Oh yeah, any browser. We'll work with Macintosh, Safari. We'll work with any Firefox, Edge.
Yeah, and I believe we saw that you can use any number of different databases, although the SQL Server connection is limited to the enterprise level. So you'd have to. Oh, that was the question. I was kind of fumbling my way to my question, and I remembered it finally. How about SQL Azure?
Yeah, you can use SQL Azure. I have done it. Yeah, you can connect, but I won't use this. I have another machine for that. This one is the one that I use for Azure. So all I have to do is connect. Let's connect here. I go to new connection and then SQL Server, and then that will work. And then you can put the Azure, the name of the, and it will connect.
Okay, put the host name. Okay, and how is performance? Have you had enough different?
I haven't played that much with. I have one application that I'm working on right now, but this is still on phase. I mean, it's not on production yet. So, but so far, I mean, it's same as the MySQL application. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, again, thank you very much, Octavio. This has been, I think, a real high point in our journey so far. I think some of the other options.
Anytime, if you want me to continue with another demonstration on a specific topic about this application, definitely, yeah, I can continue and maybe talk about only forms or only grids or only code or only, Ajax or something like that. And I can, if I don't know, I can prepare something for you to see.
Okay, great. So let's toss it back to the other. We got 4 other people online. Does anybody want to see specifically one element of this particular tool that we just had a quick glimpse at? Forms design, anything that would be of specific interest or special interest to you? I'm going to unmute everybody so you can.
So guys. Try to ask if you have any question. If I know, great. If I don't know, maybe I can email you back with the right answer.
Okay, what would be your first choice for a follow-up session?
Probably deploying an application. That way you'll see how it's done in real. The final once is everything the work has been done, how you deploy to production, and then see in action probably.
Okay, great. Anybody else? I've unmuted all the other attendees. Does anybody else have a specific topic that you'd like to see? Okay, that's great. Now I think we're going to see in October, we're going to see, there's a gentleman in, I think he's in the Netherlands or Belgium, and I never remember. It's embarrassing that I can't. Who is hosting Access web apps on his own on-premises SharePoint server. And so I asked him to come visit with us and talk about how he's doing that. So maybe November would be a good follow-up for
Yeah.
ScriptCase.
Works.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well,
That
great.
sounds good. I'll do that.
Okay, that sounds perfect. Thank you so very much. This has been a really interesting and exciting experience for me. Everybody, thanks. Hopefully next month we'll hear
If you have any question, or anyone has questions, you can email. Let me give you my email. My email is you can email me to live.com. Feel free to email me questions. I'll my email and my name. Ándale, Emilio. Have a good. Que te vaya bien, Emilio.
Entonces, ¿dónde está Emilio?
Oh, he was on the chat. He says thank you, Octavio, and probably he left.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I'll be glad to continue. And if you email me if you have any questions. So have a very good evening.
All right.
Day.
Thanks again. Thanks everybody for participating. We'll see you again next month.